She laughed and said, "A hall pass weekend. Just for fun." I casually replied, "Sure." She kept searching for fun, but fun never came looking for her. Meanwhile, I was in Paris with my college crush, eating croissants. Her furious messages suddenly turned sweet, the very moment she saw my Instagram story, and noticed the hand I was holding wasn't hers. I'm 30 years old, been with my girlfriend Claire for 4 years, and until 3 months ago, I thought we were solid. Not perfect, but solid. We lived together in a decent apartment in Chicago, split rent evenly, had our routines. Saturday mornings were farmers market runs where she'd spend 20 minutes choosing the perfect tomatoes while I grabbed coffee from the corner vendor. Sunday nights were meal prep and trashy reality TV. We talked about marriage occasionally, in that vague someday kind of way that people do when they're comfortable but not quite ready to commit. Then came the girls' trip to Miami. Claire and her 3 closest friends had been planning it for months. Bachelorette party for her friend Kelsey. I encouraged it, actually. Told her to have fun, let loose, enjoy herself. I even helped her pack, folded her dresses while she stressed about which swimsuit made her look better. The night before she left, we ordered Thai food and watched a movie. Everything felt normal. She curled up against me on the couch, stole bites of my spring rolls, laughed at the stupid comedy we'd seen 3 times already. It was during that movie, around 10:30 at night, when she paused it suddenly. "Hey, so, the girls were joking about something," she said, picking at her pad thai with her chopsticks, not looking at me. Just like, hypothetically. I looked up from my phone. "Yeah. What if we did a hall pass thing? Like, just for this weekend. No consequences, no guilt, just fun. Like a free pass, you know." She tried to laugh, but it came out nervous. I remember the exact way she said it. Casual, light, like she was suggesting we try a new pizza place or switch our Netflix subscription. But her eyes were watching me carefully, gauging my reaction. I shrugged. "Sure, if that's what you want." She blinked. "Wait, really? You're okay with that?" "Yeah. Go have fun." I went back to scrolling through my phone. She laughed then, genuinely, kissed my cheek, and said something about how cool I was. How she was lucky to have such a secure, trusting boyfriend. How most guys would freak out at the suggestion. I didn't think much of it. Honestly, I figured she was just trying to ease her guilt about flirting with some guy at a club, maybe getting a little too drunk and dancing too close. I wasn't worried. I should have been. She left Thursday morning at 6 a.m. I drove her to the airport, carried her overpacked suitcase to check in, kissed her goodbye. She texted me from the gate with a selfie and 3 heart emojis. By Thursday night, my phone was buzzing with Instagram stories. Claire and the girls on a yacht, champagne bottles everywhere, shirtless guys in the background mixing drinks. Friday brought more of the same. Clubs with bottle service, beaches with cabanas, her dancing with different guys in each post. She texted me once at 2 a.m. her time. "Miss you, babe. Having so much fun. Red heart." I sent back a thumbs up. Saturday morning, I woke up to a message from someone I hadn't heard from in 7 years. "Hey stranger. Saw you're in Chicago now. I'm actually here for work this week. Are you around?" It was Sophia. We dated briefly in college, stayed friends after the breakup, then lost touch when she moved to London for grad school. She was a journalist now, traveling constantly, covering everything from political scandals to human interest pieces. I'd followed her career loosely through social media, saw her bylines in major publications, photos from war zones and fashion weeks. I stared at that message for a solid 5 minutes. Then I texted back. "Yeah, I'm free. Want to grab coffee?" We met at a place in Wicker Park that afternoon. She looked exactly the same. Same dark curly hair that never quite stayed where she wanted it. Same crooked smile that always made me feel like I was in on some private joke. We caught up for an hour that turned into 2. She told me about her chaotic life bouncing between cities, sleeping in airports, interviewing people whose names I recognized from headlines. I told her about my work, my routine with Claire, the comfortable life I'd built. "She's in Miami this weekend," I said, stirring my 3rd coffee. "Bachelorette party." Sophia raised an eyebrow. "And you're not worried?" "I mean, Miami, bachelorette party. That's a recipe for trouble." I shrugged. She wanted a hall pass weekend. We agreed to it. Sophia nearly spit out her latte. "You what? Are you insane?" It was her idea. I said sure. She stared at me like I'd just told her I was planning to walk into traffic. Then she laughed, loud enough that people turned to look. "You're either very secure or very stupid? Probably both, I said, and for the first time in months, I laughed too. Really laughed. So what are you doing this weekend? Just sitting around waiting for her to come back. I looked at her. Really looked. The way the afternoon light came through the cafe window and caught in her hair. The way her eyes crinkled when she smiled. Well, I said slowly, I also have a hall pass. Her smile widened. Oh, this is interesting. Very interesting. What are you doing this weekend? She pulled out her phone, checked her calendar. I have until Wednesday before I need to be in Brussels for an assignment. Ever been to Paris? She leaned back in her chair, studying me. Are you serious right now? Completely. You want to fly to Paris? Right now? With me. I have miles saved up from a work trip that got canceled. You have 3 days. I have a hall pass. I paused. Unless you think it's crazy. Oh, it's absolutely crazy, she said. Then she grinned. I'm in. By Sunday morning, we were on a flight to Paris. I didn't plan it. It wasn't some calculated revenge scheme. It was spontaneous and reckless and exactly the kind of thing I never do. I'm the guy who plans vacation itineraries 6 months in advance, who researches restaurants before trying them. But sitting in that cafe with Sophia, I realized I'd spent 4 years being careful, being stable, being the safe choice. And I was done with it. We landed Monday morning, exhausted and giddy. The hotel near Montmartre was tiny, barely room for the bed and our suitcases, but it had a balcony overlooking the street. We dropped our bags and went straight out. No plan, no guidebook, just walking. We ate croissants at a cafe overlooking the Seine. They were buttery and perfect and probably overpriced, but I didn't care. We wandered through Shakespeare and Company, that famous bookstore where Sophia bought 3 novels, and I bought a collection of poetry I'd never read. We argued about Hemingway versus Fitzgerald. We got lost in the Marais, ended up in a tiny wine bar where the owner didn't speak English and we didn't speak French, but somehow we all communicated through pointing and laughter. That night, we drank wine on a bench near the Eiffel Tower and watched it light up. Sophia had her head on my shoulder. We weren't touching beyond that, weren't pushing anything, but there was this electricity in the air. I forgot, she said quietly. Forgot what? How easy this is. Talking to you. Being with you. Yeah, I said. Me too. Tuesday afternoon, we were at a cafe in Le Marais. The sun was warm, the coffee was strong, and Sophia was telling me about a story she'd covered in South Africa. Her hands moved when she talked, painting pictures in the air. I was watching her, really watching her, and thinking about how I couldn't remember the last time Claire had talked to me like this. Like I mattered. Sophia reached across the table and took my hand. This okay? She asked. Yeah, I said. Her fingers interlaced with mine. She pulled out her phone with her other hand and snapped a photo of our coffees, our hands intertwined in the frame, the cafe's vintage sign visible behind us. This is too good not to share, she said, and posted it to her Instagram story without thinking. I looked at the photo on her screen, looked at our hands, looked at her. Then I posted it to mine too. Within an hour, my phone exploded. Update 1. The messages from Claire started around 3 p.m. Paris time. Who is that? Are you serious right now? Call me. This isn't funny. Is that a girl's hand? Where are you? I was sitting outside the Musée Picasso when they came through. Sophia was inside looking at some exhibit. I read through the messages slowly, one by one, watching them escalate from confusion to anger to panic. Then I put my phone on silent and went back inside. By that evening, there were 23 messages. Her tone shifted wildly. Okay, I'm sorry, can we talk? Baby, please, this is crazy, just call me. I made a mistake. I thought you were joking about the hall pass. Who is she? Why aren't you answering me? I finally replied around 10 p.m. We were back at the hotel, Sophia was in the shower, and I was on the balcony with a beer. Her name's Sophia. Old friend. We're in Paris. 3 dots appeared immediately, then disappeared, then appeared again. You're where? Paris. You said hall pass weekend. I'm using mine. I didn't think you'd actually do anything. I stared at that message for a long time. Read it 3 times. Let it sink in. Then why did you ask? I typed back. No response for 2 hours. I finished my beer, opened another one. Sophia came out wrapped in a towel, saw my face, and sat down beside me without saying anything. Finally, Claire responded. Because I wanted permission. I didn't think you'd want it too. So you could cheat without guilt, but I was supposed to sit home and wait? That's not fair. No, it really isn't. Can you please just come home? I'm back in Chicago. I'm at the apartment. We need to talk. I'll be back Thursday. Thursday? You're staying there until Thursday? Yeah. My flight's Thursday night. With her? Yes. I can't believe this. I can't believe you're doing this to me. I almost laughed at that. Doing this to you? You know what I mean. I really don't. Another long pause. Then, did you sleep with her? Does it matter? Yes, it matters. Why? You slept with someone in Miami, didn't you? The dots appeared and disappeared 4 times before she finally sent. That was different. How? Because I asked. I got permission. So did I. I didn't mean it. And there it was. The truth she'd been dancing around. I turned off my phone after that. Sophia found me on the balcony later that night. She'd pulled on one of my t-shirts, her hair still damp. She sat beside me, didn't ask questions, just handed me another beer. You okay? She finally said. I don't know yet. She nodded. For what it's worth, I'm glad you're here. Me too. We stayed up until 4 a.m. talking. About everything and nothing. She told me about a bad breakup she'd had 2 years ago with another journalist. I told her about the little ways Claire and I had stopped really seeing each other over the past year. How conversations had become logistics. How sex had become scheduled. How we'd become roommates who occasionally kissed. It wasn't bitter. It was honest. Wednesday, we spent the day at Versailles. We took stupid selfies in the Hall of Mirrors, making faces at our infinite reflections. We got lost in the gardens, found a fountain where we sat for an hour just watching the water. We held hands. We kissed once, soft and brief, testing the waters. That night, we had dinner at a tiny restaurant Sophia found. The waiter spoke no English, the menu was entirely in French, and we ended up ordering blindly and getting the best meal of my life. I don't want this to end, Sophia said over dessert. Paris. All of it. It doesn't have to. She looked at me. You're still with her. Technically. Not for long. Update 2. I landed in Chicago Thursday night around 9 p.m. Sophia's flight to Brussels had left that morning. We'd said goodbye at the hotel, long hug, her face buried in my neck, promises to stay in touch this time. Claire was waiting in the apartment when I walked in. She looked exhausted. Her eyes were red and puffy, mascara smudged like she'd been crying. Hair pulled back in a messy bun, still in sweatpants. The apartment was a mess, takeout containers on the counter, her suitcase still unpacked by the door. Hi, she said quietly. Hi. We stood there in the doorway like strangers. For years together, and suddenly we didn't know how to occupy the same space. Can we talk? She asked. Sure. We sat on opposite ends of the couch. The same couch where she'd asked for the hall pass 5 days earlier. I messed up, she started, her voice shaky. I shouldn't have suggested that. It was stupid and selfish. Why did you? She hesitated. Because Kelsey kept saying I was boring. That I'd been with you so long I didn't know what else was out there. That I was missing out. And I wanted to prove her wrong. I wanted to feel exciting again. By sleeping with someone else. She flinched. I didn't. Claire. She looked down at her hands. Okay. Yes. I met someone at a club Friday night. His name was Brett. He was there for some investment banking conference. We went back to his hotel. I nodded slowly. Okay. That's it. Just okay? What do you want me to say? I don't know. Be angry. Yell at me. Don't just sit there like you don't even care. I'm not angry. Then why did you go to Paris with her? Because you told me I could. I didn't mean it. I leaned back against the couch. So what did you mean? She didn't answer. You wanted permission to cheat without the guilt, I said. But you didn't expect me to actually take you up on it. You thought I'd sit here and wait while you had your fun. That's not. Yes, it is. Silence. Did you sleep with her? Claire finally asked. No. Her shoulders sagged with relief. But I wanted to, I added. She looked up sharply. And that's the part that matters, I continued. For 4 years, I never even thought about it. Then you asked for a hall pass. And suddenly I was on a plane with someone who made me feel like I mattered again. Someone who listened when I talked. Someone who looked at me like I was worth her time. You matter to me, Claire said, crying now. Do I? Yes. God, yes. I'm so sorry. I'll do anything to fix this. Therapy. Whatever you want. I watched her cry and felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just tired. I don't think you can, I said. Please don't say that. It's been over for a while, Claire. We both know it. No. No, we can fix this. You asked for a hall pass because you wanted out, but didn't want to be the bad guy. Well, congratulations. I'm ending it. She sobbed then. I love you. You love the idea of me. The stability. But you don't love me. Not anymore. That's not true. When's the last time you asked me about my day and actually listened? She opened her mouth. Closed it. I'm not angry, I said. I'm just done. Update 3. I stayed at my friend Derek's place that night. By Friday morning, I'd started looking at studio apartments. Claire texted me constantly over the next week. Apologies, promises, plans for couples therapy. I didn't respond much. When I did, it was logistics, when I'd pick up my stuff, how we'd split our shared accounts. Sophia and I texted daily. Nothing heavy. Just photos, random thoughts, occasional phone calls that stretched past midnight. She sent me a picture of a street musician in Brussels with the caption, reminded me of that guy in Montmartre. I sent her a photo of the coffee shop with, doesn't taste the same without you. 3 weeks after Paris, Claire showed up at my new apartment unannounced. I just moved in, boxes everywhere. I talked to Kelsey, she said, standing in my doorway. I told her what happened. She said I'm an idiot. She's not wrong. She also said you deserve better. I didn't disagree. I saw your Instagram, Claire continued. You're still talking to her. Yeah. Are you together? Not officially. But you want to be. I thought about it. Yeah, I think I do. She nodded slowly, tears streaming down her face. I really loved you, you know. I know. Did you love me? Yeah. For a long time. But not anymore. Not the way you needed me to. She left after that. I watched her walk down the hallway, get in the elevator, disappear. 2 months later, Sophia moved back to the States. She took a job with a newspaper in New York. We did long distance for a while, Chicago to New York, weekend visits, constant FaceTime calls. It worked because we wanted it to. Last month, I got a job offer in Manhattan. Better pay, better position. I accepted without hesitation. I ran into Claire once at a bar in Chicago before I left. She was with some new guy, looked happy enough. We made awkward small talk for 5 minutes. She asked if I was seeing anyone. The Paris girl? Yeah. She smiled tightly. I hope she knows how lucky she is. I'm the lucky one, I said. And I meant it. Final update. I moved to New York 3 weeks ago. Sophia helped me unpack, mocked my terrible furniture choices, made my apartment feel like home in hours. We were eating takeout on my floor last night, still waiting on the couch to be delivered, when she said, you know what's funny? What? If Claire hadn't asked for that hall pass, we probably never would have reconnected. I thought about that. Yeah, weird how things work out. Do you regret how it ended with her? No. I regret letting it drag on as long as it did. She nodded, took another bite of lo mein. For the record, I'm really glad you were in Chicago that weekend. Me too. And I'm really glad you said yes to coffee. Best decision I've made in years. She kissed me then, tasting like soy sauce and possibility. So what now, she asked. Now we see where this goes. No hall passes? Definitely no hall passes. She laughed. Good. Because I'm not interested in sharing. Some people say revenge is petty. Maybe it is. But sometimes the best revenge isn't hurting someone back. It's realizing you're better off without them. Claire wanted freedom without consequences. Instead, she got consequences without me. And I got Paris. I got Sophia. I got a second chance at actually being happy. So yeah, thanks for the hall pass, Claire. I'll take it from here. Edit 1. A few people asked if Sophia knows the full story. Yes. I told her everything the second night in Paris. She laughed and said, so I'm your revenge plot? I said no. She was my reminder that I deserved better. She appreciated that. Edit 2. Someone DM'd asking if Claire ever found out who she slept with in Miami. Yeah. Turned out Brett was married with 2 kids. His wife found Claire's Instagram, contacted her. That was a whole separate mess I stayed far away from. Edit 3. For everyone asking. Yes, the croissants really were that good.